to disconnect before we get started. Let me send my tweet out. That's done. There we go. Looks like we've exited the host mode. Sorry, Max. Seems that Maximus is always streaming when I come on Wednesday mornings. Not that that's a bad thing, but I feel bad for unhosting. Okay, so this morning we are back on Jabbit-EU to visit a few homes. Before we do that, though, just a quick reminder that there is maintenance today. It's at the usual time, 4 a.m. PDT, 1 p.m. CEST time, and it's to last a little over 2 hours. There was also an extra note saying that they were going to have like the, I guess the shop services or something. It's going to be down a little extra long. I don't know if, I think it's the payment services, I think is what it mentioned. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to hook up with like renewing your subscription or something. Also, a special note about the Double XP event that is going to be happening this weekend. It'll be hitting May 26th through the 29th. Basically what it means is any leveling that you do with alts or an unmaxed main, maybe you haven't gotten to 50 yet, this is your time to take advantage of getting double XP for your efforts. I think it works the same even if you are capped. You'll still get double XP, but it's like going towards your elder gym gain or something. I'm not really for positive on that, to be honest. Usually if I'm going to play on a double XP weekend, it's typically to mess around with an alt. Even though you can get into housing earlier on your alts, unlocking certain reputation areas is always helpful. It just makes it easier because a lot of those particular items are soulbound, and this is a good opportunity to get those alts higher up if you're wanting to do it. Or, if you're not really interested in housing, if you just want to try out a different character spec or something, this is your opportunity to do that. And good morning, Poi, and anyone else that happens to be lurking around. I feel like I just woke up. My eyes are still like fogged over and not adjusting very well. Everything's still fuzzy. So pardon me if we kind of go a little off a little bit. So yeah, we got 3 places I want to take you guys to today. The first one is Big Mama House by Kiki Mora, I believe it is. I've got it labeled down as an Orani house. I honestly don't remember what it was exactly, so we're just going to kind of take a look. You can see how they've, a lot of us find ways to kind of cover up the teleporter pad that you come in on, and some just kind of shortcut on that, and you can see it doesn't hurt it. It would be nice if we could modify this a little bit more, like if they gave different options like they do with like the windows, I mean not the windows, the doors, and the outer covering of the prefab homes and stuff. I wish they would give some kind of a thing like, maybe you could change it to look like an Orin landing pad kind of thing without actually having to use decor pieces. Hey Flood, good morning. Glad you could join. But this one shows where you can just kind of set up a little scene in front to kind of block off. This is a good way of kind of hiding to, I guess, heighten the anticipation of what you're going to see beyond whatever this is. I've seen folks build up walls, like fortress walls, with a big gate, and others do this type of cave thing. I did the same thing with the Tangled Tower. I wanted the tower scene to kind of be really eye-catching, and the best way to do that was to kind of suspend you being able to see it off the hand at the first by forcing you to go through a little cave area. And they've kind of done the same. It's just a little bit of a different way of addressing the entrance. It just shows that you don't have to cover the teleport pad. There's still a lot of folks that opt not to. Um, Maybe it's because they can't find the right item that they want to use. Some of us use stones. Um, and it's only certain items that really work well with covering that up. And like the upside down snowy hill, it has to be like supersized to be able to do it properly. So it's just certain things, and it just depends on what you're wanting to do for your plot. So this one kind of leads off to a little walkway, and I'm not sure what the burning banana is about, um, but maybe that's the name of their guild, or it's a warning to banana lovers. I'm not sure, but I thought that was a little strange to have the burning banana. Maybe there's some kind of a King Arthur type legend for the burning banana. I don't know. Over here, you've got nice little, not exactly a mountain kind of thing, but almost. I like the use of the stepping stones that you get from Starcom uh, to use as a bit of a walkway. Hey, Jim. Good to see you. And of course, because of the stone door, the coloring of it, it blends really well. If you're not familiar with the door, or you kind of forget about its availability, it's really easy to overlook little hidden areas like this. Now this one's set up rather large, so um, as you mouse over, you can see it light up pretty good. But there are some that make the entrance a little smaller and blends it in super well. So I always kind of, when I go around Greystones, I'm like constantly moving my mouse around just to make sure I don't miss a little hidden spot like this. So here's their little treasure room guarded by the now dead guardian, little skeleton laying there. I don't know if we're supposed to go up this way or not. You can see there's some water features. They got the waterfalls coming down to feed the little river bit that's going along the edge here. But even if they didn't intend for you to come up here, this is a great place for a screenshot where you can take a good overall picture of the plot. You can see they've got a large structure here. This is the prefab home, and then some more structures in the back over there. Now you can see that this one, just like many others, they've got a lot of the fab kits set up. This one is I think it's called the Creepy Cave. It's the one where you, if I recall right, if you go into it, it's like the stew pot with all of the skeech or something, and you get like skeech plushies from it. This one is the hot springs one, which they've decorated extra for themselves. They've got the tiki roofs, making a kind of a canopy for it, and they've got all the divider walls, trying to lend a little bit of privacy. And I also like the addition of the feeding trough to kind of make almost like a little uh, jacuzzi type of section away from the rest of the water. They did add some ladders. Now I'm not sure, I think it's just waterfalls that they use for this rather than the usual that we see, which is the winding rivers to make a little water bit here. Again, it's probably got a loud sound to it, the rushing water sound, but my sound is off, so I don't hear it, but I assume that it's probably pretty loud. This one is the Rock Garden Fab Kit, I think. Doesn't look like they've added anything to it. Let's see, I'm kind of getting off track here. Go to the main house first, I think. I like the little decking here. It's actual decking pieces, but I like the addition to that. They can sit in sun if they want. Go back to the entrance here before I get really off path. Here, it's kind of like a little. It's their version of a party fab kit thing. It's custom made. They've made it themselves. The stage, the setup of the dishes, and everything. But it looks like it could be used for like formal occasions, like maybe since this archway's here, it could be for a wedding. It could be for a birthday party. Uh, just a regular little social gathering. Notice they're using the ice blocks for their little ice bucket here. Hey, Sisqui, glad you could join. Again, a lot of folks hated the change in the wind effect. It's useful in some respects, but like when it comes to the balloons, you can see how crazy they get. We used to be able to use them for berries and noses on faces and things for statues and stuff outside, and now that's kind of problematic because they blow around so much. Over here is another part of the water feature. You see some more waterfalls coming off the stones. A combination of regular stones, swirly stones. There's the purple rock arch. Little camping ground here. Over here we have the, I think it's the crafting station fab kit. And I can't tell. I think they've added this part. Again, it's one of those things if you have a fun builder. I honestly have never remembered seeing something like that on one of these fab kit things, so I don't know if that's actually a part of it and I've just never noticed it before, or if it's actually something the builder put in themselves. This one here is the garden fab kit, and they've actually built above it. I think the bracketry here is part of the fab kit, and then they've topped it with the glass and put in a floor so they could add this little room up above. And then they've kind of mirrored that setup on the other side. It's not exact because we don't have these pieces to play with, but they've put up something similar, so it's kind of samey, sort of. So on this side above the one fab kit, um, it's kind of like a lab works. Don't worry about it, Siskwe. And yeah, I thought it was because I was like, I'm not sure I've seen that before, the little guy on the bench there, but I thought that was kind of funny. So here's the lab works. You've got the tables, the questionable pulsing guts out of the corpse there. Got the zapper room with the egg. He's got his little bunk bed up here for the studious professor. And on this side above the garden fab kit, they've got more like a greenhouse type of thing for some special plants. You can see they've got these little containers. It's just the portable containers, portable planters, I think is the actual name. One for the top and bottom, and just curved glass, and that makes these little containers for the plants. You can see how they've left this one open, so you can see how they actually function, so that the glass opens and you can water the plant, remove it, plant a new one, that kind of thing. It's kind of like the cabinetry in the kitchen. Oftentimes people will have these lovely cabinets and maybe they'll leave one open so you can kind of sneak inside. I don't know why we like doing that, but it's kind of a fun thing to show. Trying to see what's in the cheese there. Guess it's just the fork stuck in. Looked a little weird. They too have a little bed set up using those rain gutters for a little flower bed. Those are really handy if you want to do a quick one for like under the window for your house, rather than doing some of those custom built ones that I've shown in the past, like with the books and stuff. The rain gutters work really nice for that. Bit more of the water feature that goes around the one edge of the plot. Again, winding rivers, lots of different types of stone, even sandstone. They've got the taurine bits, the Hugel statues, a couple more taurine bits. One inside the main house. I say the main, and it's actually smaller than the other part, but notice the tree swing. A lot of people like putting in the swings, and if you can make it so that the seat itself is sittable. I've seen some where they're a little too small. I mean, you can sit on it, but it kind of looks a little odd. This is about the perfect size. You can see there's looks like three or four boards, and then the chains. This here with the hanging lantern, I think that's actually a lantern with a stick, and the stick is like set inside the house so you can't see it. The fountain here, that is waterfalls. It's got the stepping stones up top. The bottom part that's made to, I guess, to kind of look like water, is actually one of those frozen ledges, I think. It's the small one that you can get from the housing vendor. There's actually a larger one you can get from another location. One thing I do want to mention that it's I think it's the what's it called, the Grannock House, and they've added on this little porch, which I love when folks definitely can. It doesn't, with the prefab homes, you don't have to. I mean, we saw one a couple weeks ago where they completely changed the entire look of the outside, so where you couldn't even tell what type of house it was, except possibly by the look of the door. But this one, they've just kind of blended in around it. I mean, they've added the shop awning and the Oran windows and such to kind of make it a little bit more Oran-y than it is Grannock-y. But the little porch patio thing they've got here, I really like this. Even with using the overgrowth as kind of like privacy walls with the vines. So you got this whole little section. There's the little stage here, the bar, which leads out to the back room there, and then several little sitting areas for those that want to have some more private conversations. I like the stack of beer here. Little rickety looking. Notice they do have the pathway that goes through, and this is one of those instances where the plot owner, the builder, has to make the decision about that clutter. The clutter, when we talk about clutter, we're talking about the little grass bits that are sticking up. Normally, or I should say often, the builders will opt not to have the clutter visible because of this effect, having it stick up through the floors. Now, it could be that they just decided they like the look of the grass coming up through the walkway. Others will actually raise the walkway a bit so that it's just above the clutter so that it doesn't peek through as much or as little as possible. Um, so it's just a decision on the builder's part on whether or not they want the clutter there or not. A lot of people like to leave the clutter because it makes it look, flush with, nice grasses. Others will go ahead and turn it off. It becomes smooth and they add in their own plants and such. If you're really good with the landscaping and being able to decide just how little or how much of the flowers and grass patches and things that you think you might need, um, and then I would say your best bet would be to turn off the clutter and add your own clutter where you feel like it needs to be. Again, turning off the clutter and then adding in grass patches in certain places can better designate paths, leaving the short grass as the path and then having the overgrown grass that you place to more define where you want your visitor to walk, that kind of thing. Now, of course, they're using the wooden path to kind of designate that, but with the grass so overgrown, it's kind of hard to see at certain angles. So you may or may not appreciate that it's there. Going into the main prefab home, again, I love going into these prefab places to see how they divvy up the space. You can see they've got this, I don't know what you call it, a living room space, entry hall, something like that. There's a dining over here. The kitchen's here, bathroom, and then you can see they've built in a staircase for the upstairs. So the dining room is set on a little bit of a raised area. Again, they could have left it flush, but I think adding this little bracketry and the stairs just makes it look a little bit more cozy, like it's a special place. The dining table itself is actually one of those brown round tables. It's the ones you get usually in the little intro decor pack that you get when you first unlock housing for yourself. I think the brown round table is a given. It's just oversized and they've sunk it down so you don't see the tall legs. They've capped it with one of the round rugs and then just laid out a little bounty of different foods or items that they want to pretend as foods. They've got mushrooms, the gorge fruit. It looks like they're using the leafy stalks as like part of a salad or asparagus plate or something. They've even got the strain heart as some kind of gross concoction that someone's eating. Again, when you go down to laying these type of things out, it looks, you know, easy, but it's not. You have to individually lay in each piece and got to get it just right so not everything feels like it's clashing with another. I mean, they even made a little sandwich out of the steak with a couple of pieces of toast. Over here, as I said, is the bathroom. This banner here, I want to say is the taurine banner, I think. It's among those that, again, the cloth of the banners, or like the sheet from the, or any of the clothes really, from the clotheslines. There's even some, the holographic picture of like the chua, if you size it up large enough, you can pass right through them, and they're great for doorways where maybe you don't want to actually put in a functioning door, or you don't want to leave it open like this. You want to give some semblance of privacy, and since this is like the bathroom, that's kind of ideal. The banners are really good for that. The bird banner is probably one of the favorites because it's got the smallest amount of wood that you have to hide. It's just got that one little, like little arrow thing up the top. The other banners usually have the big stalks that you have to kind of hide. Here's the bathroom. The sink is, of course, the tiki bar. I'm not sure why the picture is in the trash, but it's there. Over here we have the kitchen. It's mostly the wood crates, and then they've been topped with granite pillars and staircase landings, using the pillars and 2x4s to create the shelves for some of the dishes. Notice they're using some of the swords as like other types of knives. One way to get a different variety is shrinking them down. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that before, but it's a good idea, smart idea. Notice they're using one of those, it's actually a, oh, what do you call it, a plaque thing with the ear on it, and they've just sized it up and put the plaque of the, you could just barely see it there, hidden so that it looks like there's an ear being cooked. Kind of gross, but it's an original use of, or a clever use of that particular item. There's one that's got a wall-mounted tongue, and then the ear, and I think there's a hand. The hand one is popular for Shades Eve themed or graveyard areas, or someone that's looking to make something creepy. They have that little bony hand sticking out. But I think this is the first time I've seen the ear being used as like a piece of meat in the fryer there. Using some strain stalks for a little, I don't know, something on the Barbie there. Here's the pantry. It's a good use of having that odd space that's left over, kind of blocking it in. A little reading nook with the pillows. Now, for those of you that have seen this room empty, I mean, you can see how much they've managed to squeeze in here. They're using it as a kind of a library storage space for all of their collections. This is where they're showing off all of the ships that they've gotten from their expeditions, the travel posters they've unlocked. It's, again, it's one of those rooms that's ideal if you have something that doesn't quite fit the theme that you have going on. You have no other place to display it. This is the great way to do it. Treasure rooms, collection shelves. Again, it's easy to kind of sneak those things in. And there's a little travel poster right there. Just cute and cozy. But a good use of the space. It doesn't feel too crowded. It's open. Much more organized than some that I've seen. The stairs, again, notice how they're they covered underneath the stair. A lot of folks forget to do that. It's not that it's required, but it saves you from seeing underneath. You know, maybe there's some junk there that you don't want being seen, like an unfinished part of the room or the space below it. Using the floors to kind of cover that up is a good way to make it look more finished. You can see they're using 2x4s here to make that connection between the levels. Staircases are always a hassle for me. I never make it at making things. A simple little shelf here. It's just a pillar with 2x4s. A great way to display all their little NPCs that they've collected, like little figurines. Hey Bones, good morning. Glad you could make it. Then up here is the bedroom. I love this little private bath that they've got set up. It's just a variety of stones. You got sandstone, swirly stones, gray stones, a little bit of water coming out. They don't even have to show that there's like a vent or anything. They could have something that could be added, but they didn't have to. You just assume that there's like some method that the water's coming through. And then you've got the feeding trough being used as the tub. A little bit of wood here to act as a tray for the wine glasses and stuff. And then of course here is the Draken bed, and they've added to it. They've added the taurine little feather masky thing to the back as part of the headboard. Just to change it up a little bit. Okay, the last thing we have to look at is the building out back. So you can see it's the roof of it is 2x4s. It's curved a little bit, and it's got the supports on either side. The rest of it is mostly Oran floors and granite pillars. It has that old-fashioned look. I'm sure there's a particular style name for it, but trying to get a better shot here. You can see the 2x4s. Now the very tip top looks to be a bit of curved wall there. Yeah, maybe it's just for dipping his toe in or something. That's why I said I think they designed it for Orany. That's the feel I got with all of the greenery and stuff. Even though it was a granite house, I think that's why they had all the Oran windows and things. There was a lot of Orany touches, so that's what I figured. So on the bottom floor here, you have a massage area. They got the little massage table. It's just a couple of dividers. It's the same things that's being used for the dividing walls here. They've just lowered them down to behave as the base of, or the legs of the massage table. And notice they didn't even make the table part here. They just using the sleeping bag as the solid part. Got different kinds of bottles for lotions and stuff. If you want to use the color shift to get even more variety of bottles, that's your prerogative. But you can see it's not really completely necessary. Over here is some sitting space. It looks like they've got it like sized down strangely. I'm not sure why, but there's an edge piece, a hover part piece for the little corner table here. Real good since it's curved, and then it's got the flat edges. This is the little, if you're an Oran, you drown here, but they've got the seats inset so you can actually sit in the pool, the little jacuzzi or whatever. That doesn't always work. Here it seems to work fine. All of them seem functioning. But whenever I've tried to use them in that kind of way, they never work for me. So it's kind of a hit and miss. I don't know if it's maybe the size, maybe if you make them too small or too big, it kind of switches it off or what. So you just have to experiment to see just how well that works. But basically, I think it's another waterfall, and then they're using the hover part pieces. I forget, I don't know if it's the bowl it's called or what, but it's one that makes this little cutout area here. Oh, well, maybe it's a mixed family, mixed race family. That might be it. See, even this one works. See, if I did that, it wouldn't work. But I've seen others use like tires for some of their like biker bar kind of thing. But look at the shower. You've got the bucket up here. And then the curved cylinders here for the piping. They went through the trouble of making the brackets. Those are just metal edged 2x4s, adding the chain for the little puller here. Yes, that's where you rinse yourself off. And then over here is a different type of shower. It's got a bucket for the end, more of the tubing. And notice they're using the waterfall for the water coming down and then winding rivers for that, which is going into the drain. Using one of those soul frost blobs as, I don't know, a loofah or something, a piece of soap, some strange magical soap, I don't know. These are the portable holograph things. I guess they're used for the dials for the hot and cold. But I like the setup here. I think that's kind of cute and inventive. We like inventive. Here's the what do you call this? The sauna thing, where you go in and you light up the coals or whatever, and it makes you sweat out. It's using hover part pieces for the bench parts. Um, I think my favorite part is the door, strangely enough. They're using the spiky Osun chain link as the handle. It's working double time. It's just one piece, but they've got it so that it looks like it's two parts. And it's just 2x4s and glass. 2x4s here, give a little bit of texture. I like this little space. It's really nicely done. I have to keep that in mind because whenever I try to do it, I guess I try to put it in too neatly and it never works right. Over here is a little personal gym. You can see they're using tires in a variety of ways. I don't have any idea what this is supposed to be with the big hammer here. But over here is the little, was it dumbbells? They're using a similar setup with using the uh, sleeping bag as the base of it and then edged it with 2x4s. They got a little weightlifting bench. The boxing bag is just a purple pillow on a hanging chain. Now the little, I think they've put in the one of those test dummies, just judging by the animation that's going on here. I don't know if that was to possibly make it so that you can actually attack this to make it look like you're boxing. I don't see anything special light up, so I really don't know for sure how that works, but that's my impression. Go back out and go to the upstairs. So down below is more kind of like a public space. You've got the gym, you've got the massage and sauna room, and then up above, it's more like some personal spaces. So you've got like the main living room here. You've got a little bit of a bar, some library, and the big screen TV using the orange shelf as a table. And then you see all of the rooms here. Now the doors, the screens that they're using for the doorways, that's those Eldon screens that you can get from the screen decor pack from the cash shop. It used to be available directly from the vendor, and a lot of people grabbed them while they were there. So if you see someone that's got like tons of them, that's probably how they got most of them. But those that didn't catch it while it was on the housing vendor directly, the only way to get them now is from the cash shop. They became part of the screen set. It was like, I think it's a set of like 5 or 6 different screens, and they come in like different shades, blue, pink, green. And so if you want multiples of one, you have to buy multiples of all of them because they come in that single pack, which is a little frustrating, but anyway. So that's what they're using for the door. There's no collision to it. It does move a little bit, uh, but works great for like a little doorway, as if you could lock it out or something. So the first room is, we'll just call it the rainbow room. They've added some flowers to the Draken bed this time. Give it a little bit more fluffy looking. You've got the little nightstand here. It's either a cylinder or a dome for the base. They've got a couple, or I think it's a curved wall for the back, and then they topped it with a framed glass. And then they just added a bunch of little knickknacks there. Over here is a little animal terrarium type thing. You've got this creepy slug on the ceiling. I don't know if that's supposed to be his food, a little carrot there, and then just a little bit of grass and stuff. Just a little pet cage. Across the way is the little kitty's room. They've got a bunk bed set here. It's basically just the beds, and then they're attached with the pillars. That's probably the simplest way to make bunk beds. I've seen much more elaborate ones in the past, but if you're just wanting something simple, or like a bunker house or a little kid's room like this, that's the easiest way to do it. Take an actual bed and just double it up. Now I think they're using 2 different types. I think this is the regular one and this is the decrepit one, because one doesn't have the blanket and stuff. So it makes it look a little different, but I like how the windows give some nice views of the exterior. Pretty plants showing. This I'm not quite sure if this is supposed to be like a gaming thing, or they just like a lot of TVs or something. This one seems to be more like the master bedroom. They're using those exonite pillars. Looks like 2x4s. And I want to say mattress under there, and then the rugs on top. And then using the golden arrows as the foot and headboards. I don't want to go up just yet. There's another room. This seems to be more like the baby room or the playroom. They got like the little crib. I don't know. I don't think pile of beer in the baby room is all that good. But there you go. See, over here is another bedroom. I guess this is the Mordesh room. Got his little cryopod. This thing is the other version of the portable holograph. It's the long one. A lot of people like to use that. We've seen them use it for the car washes, showers. In space stations, they like to use it along the walls of like their decompression room or decontamination rooms, things like that. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. I know it's several stacks of those uh, like Ichthian tables or something, landing pads or whatever, but I have no idea why there's a stack there. At first I thought it was like an attempt at a bird cage, but that doesn't quite work there, so I have no idea. And that was the one we went into before. So let's go further up. And you can see there's room for additional living spaces. It could be more kid rooms, home office. You put up a little bathroom in here for the second floor. No telling if this is just incomplete because they haven't come up with some ideas to finish off the rooms, or possibly they've just run out of space, because while it may not look like completely filled, the 2,500 limit for outside, it goes quite fast, especially if you're paying a lot of attention to details like some of the makeshift furniture and stuff that they put in. And even the building itself has taken up a lot of decor. I mean, look at the pillars and the 2x4s they're using. Yeah, you can get a lot of use out of using big walls and such, but having to leave space for the windows, that requires extra amount of bits to fashion in properly. So it would not surprise me if it's just they've left it unfinished because they've ran out of space to place things. Up here it seems to be some type of a control center. They've got the little billboard here that they've put together, just 2x4s, all the little sticky notes and things. Lots of different panels. But think about all of the bits that they've got out here, just the landscaping that they've put together, uh, all of the details. I have no doubt that that's part of the problem, part of the issue. That they've just run out of placement space. But I like the arrangement. They got a lot of rooms out of a fairly decent sized building. This could easily be converted into like a guild hall. You know, have the meeting rooms downstairs and individual rooms for the members up above. Okay, so that is Big Mama House by Kiki Mora. So let's head off to the next one. I think I spelled that right. I believe it's pronounced Larser Eteron. Eteron, something like that. Called Eteron Mansion or Eteron. They're using the upside down massive umbrella tree for the covering here. You can tell because it's got the brown dirt instead of the white snow. And then surrounded it with various stones and wall bits. Here they're using the snowy hills. You can see how it turns into white poofy snow. That's how you get those different elevations. Most of the wall that you're going to see is part of that giant cage. I forget the exact name of that particular item, but they've just sized it up and encaged the entire plot in it. So you get this feeling that you're kind of in a special protected biome of some sort. But you can see it's pretty massive. I don't even know if it extends fully the entire plot, but it's kind of bracketed it off. Once you reach those borders, there's no going past it, period. You can see the rest of it is mostly bits of stone, and then of course the different elevations using the snowy hills. So at the front here is kind of like your little check-in place. They've got the little bunker house here, few guards. Got the little meeting board here, I guess, to announce the purpose of this place, or I don't know what. There's a little bit of a garden here. I think they just wanted to place some things at the front to make it look a little bit lived in. Then you got a choice of paths. You have the one that goes directly to the residence, and then another one off to the side here. Again, they're using a variety of stones. It's not just the sandstone. It's not just the gray stone. There's even some swirly rocks. You see bits of the stepping stones from Starcom Basin. This one they've chosen to, well, in most cases, they have no choice but to add their own greenery since the snowy hills don't show that. But I think when you get down to the root of it, all you can see is just snowy hills all along here. Most of the greenery is just various bushes and things, but you'll see like the spring plants from the spring decor pack. But it's not limited to that. I mean, there's like the brown tufts of grass. A lot of people don't think about using those mixed in with all the greenery, but it doesn't look out of place here. Here, they're with these little juttings of stone. They've added little wooden supports to make it look like, I don't know, maybe they are fearful that it might fall down, it won't support itself. That's a little weak. Using one of the newer waterfalls for this feature here, coming right out of the stone and then going in. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the water here is actually also one of the waterfalls, but it's probably the base, because there's you got the top part of the waterfall here, and then the bottom part that has this extra animation. So it's one or the other being used here. It's just oversized for that part of the water there. Notice I'm mousing over just to make sure I don't miss anything that might be hidden. So here's the landing pad for the spaceships. How they might get in and out, I don't know. If they just play like maybe the walls get shut down at times and ships can go in and out, or if this is just to get from one corner to the other, I have no idea. But notice they're using some of the Jabbit-EU stuff here. That's the effigy filled one there. The welders working on repairing the containers. And then this is one of the newer doors. This is the Red Moon hatch. It looks similar to the faux Granok one because of the little wheelie gig on the front, but this one actually works. You can open it up, unlike the other one. Now you can see they don't have it perfectly sealed with stone, but it's a nice little addition to the working, functioning doors that we have options for. So in here is kind of a lab storage bunker military thing. I don't know what you want to call it. The shelving here is just the medical tables. Remember that there's two different types on the housing vendor. There's a cheap one and then there's a more expensive one. Always buy the cheap one. They're both exactly the same, so there's no point in spending more for the same item. Notice the back of it is the, I think it's the Osun floor grading that you can get from Arctera. Pretty early on too. You don't have to have too high of a reputation value with them to get it. This little container here, I think part of that is some of the Red Moon decor. Don't remember the name offhand. And then this part here is one of the pipes that you can get from the Palaver Point daily. If you're, I think you have to be capped to be able to access it, but I'm not for positive on that. But there's a daily you can get there, and you get random rewards. Usually it's some type of pipe, like the L-shaped here. But I think there's some other things you can get as well, like a pet maybe. I'm not for sure. This, I believe, is a rating reward with a little captured naughty caretaker in there. Here's another one of the newer doors. This is the trap door from the Red Moon collection. Don't want to go down in there just yet because I'm not sure if I can get back up as easily, so I'll wait. And then here is another one. This is the circular door from the Red Moon collection. Leads into the main house if I remember correctly. Let's go down into the trap door here. Oh yeah. Did you see how my camera kind of goes through the stone here? Makes it look more open than it really is. Okay, let me just move out of the way of him. The few visits I've made to this plot, I've never found where you can actually get to an actual prefab home. I might stumble across it today since we're kind of walking around a little bit more, but I've never come across one. So if anyone's familiar with this particular plot and knows that there is an actual access to the bunker house somewhere, please don't hesitate to let me know, but I have yet to find it. I thought it was around here somewhere, but it's a little off. As you can see, there's got some of the newer pipes. There's a lot of technophage in this particular room. The emitters and the canisters and stuff. Hey Faye, good morning. And of course the technophage door. But beyond that, I haven't the foggiest if there's actually a way to get to the bunker house. Let me just slip back outside real quick. Okay, so staring back from the entrance where we came in, which is over here, and the bridge we crossed to get to all of that little military outlet thing. You have this little kind of, it's not quite a beach scene, but it's close. You've got the beach towels and everything, all from the summer decor pack, the Barbie and the ice chest and everything. Part of it is hover park pieces here. All right, boy. If we go up on this side, you see there's a bit of an exonite cavey thing here. I think you're meant to go down inside it. See if I can figure out a good way to go up. Again, these are some of the newer waterfalls. A little bit here. And then I like the little windmill they made. It's just pillars and then the windmill blades themselves. We've seen folks use that for ceiling fans, propellers for like airplanes, and other types of ships, helicopter propellers, blenders. I've seen them used shrunk down and make it look like blender blades. Some have actually used them as actual vent blades for like the fans in like a large factory type of thing. I think most, when in that particular case, I think most like to use the air conditioner more. It's fewer pieces, I think, to stick it in and make the casing and everything. And it comes with the grate. But this is an option if you happen to get a hold of a bunch of these and, you know, don't have an idea of what to use them for. That's some of the uses I've seen it. Get up here. A little camp, treasure chest kind of thing. Here's a good bird's eye view of property. Got the entrance here, and that's where the windmill is. That's the cave area. You go through the underneath those stone bits, and then the living place is over here. Actually, we're kind of on top of it now. You can see all of the stones they used just to box this all in. Whoops, I just fell down somewhere. That's one problem with kind of wandering around. Let me reload at the front. I think there's a couple of those there, so be careful if you go wandering out up above like I just did. But anyway, I think that's a good overview of the outside. You can see that there's actually, it looks like 2 or 3 levels here. I think it's just the 2. There's the roofing and then the second floor, and then they're using stones and such around. I don't think the stones go all the way through. I think they just use floors and 2x4s and stuff for that. But you can see this made to look like they're using the stone, and they've just carved out these spaces for the living area. Just bowls for the little planters for the trees. Over here you have the dining area. Now, so this makes it look like more of a resort type of thing because of the tables. It's not like a personable family living room. It looks like a restaurant type of area. So over here is where we get to the bar and gaming room. Again, I think this is a raid drop of some sort or a dungeon drop. This is all one piece. But if you were to kind of come and have a look up close, I would not doubt that somebody could fashion up their own DJ roundtable here to be something. It may not be exact, but it would be just as cool. And I would probably be more appreciative of them cobbling it together rather than using this single piece. Um, while this is cool, I can't stand the green highlighting for um, uh, interactable items. It's irritating because if I have to be careful about where I put my mouse, if I'm taking screenshots, stuff like that. Um, but yeah, it's as Faye said, it's a pretty rare thing. So if you can get your hands on it, and that's something that you really want, you don't want to use the pieces to make one yourself. More power to you. But I would be more impressed by someone setting up something on their own that looks similar and has the same function. But that's just me. I'm more all about the custom building anyway. So the bar is mostly hover part pieces. They're using a lot of the red moon bits in this particular room, like the ceiling fans and the shorting out light. The little, I want to say these are some kind of lamp things, but like the piping and stuff is all from the red moon stuffs. The kitchen area, the little refrigerated thing, I think it's travel posters and Cassian pillars, and then framed glass for the shelves. Using some of those red moon lights from the vendor for that, and then for the little sparkly effect, I think it's either the portable holograph things, or it's the underside of the hovering medical cot that gives that little frosty blue effect. Countertop using the decking pieces. I think that's the first time I've seen that being used for that purpose. Then you have the little sneeze guard shelving for some of the food that they've got on display. And then the trays are, it looks like decking pieces as well for the different types of food. Sandwich is just a couple pieces of toast, some greenery there. Even got space for one of the Winterfest shelves. Now this leads back to the place where we were earlier with the Technophage bits. Got the bathroom back here. Pretty simple and sweet. Make sure I'm not missing anything. I think this is one of the newer pieces from the Macari furniture set. It's the ripped poster picture thing. It looks like somebody shredded it. They weren't too appreciative of the artwork. Figure there's going to be some people that find some clever way of using that. To the upstairs. This is again that place that we were in before. Just another way of getting to it. Here's a type of aquarium. I think they're just using curved glass. It could be one of the like tube container things. I don't think so though, but I'm honestly not sure. Curved glass and maybe layered up to get that frosty look. I'm not really positive. The plant, I think it's called the tentacle plant. They're using that as the jellyfish. That's a really popular use for it. And then of course the aloe plant, I think is what it is. They're even using some frosted Arctera type bushes in here. Just a few pieces, but you know what it's supposed to be. Ugh, I feel a sneeze coming on. Another little, I think this is supposed to be like the living room. Uh, it's the Red Moon bar, but they're using it as kind of like a countertop for behind. But this is some of that newer furniture. This is the Mordesh sofa. You can see it's like a see-through bottom. It looks very tech-like with all of the like schematic-looking artwork on it. Here's the table. That's part of the set. Looks like syringes for the feet. It's like a little home office kind of thing. The fireplace here is just hover part pieces and then a giant dome, the cylinder on top. Some might have went through the trouble of adding like a vent type of feature to make it look like the smoke and everything goes up somewhere. Here's some more of those Mordesh pieces, the chairs and the table. Again, you can see it's got a bit of a glowy effect, but it's kind of see-through. Same way with the seats. It looks like, reminds me of the Jetsons or something. It's got that space agey look, real alien-y. And then a little bit of a bedroom. And then you have another path that leads out to the area we were at close to the beginning. Oh my gosh. So there you have the Eteron Mansion. Uh, Again, this is one of those places that could be easily converted into like a more personable residence rather than having all of those tables for like dinner folks and stuff. It could be a guild house. I like the closed in bit. I'm pretty sure they didn't use all of the property. More like not quite a mini plot, but close to it. Again, I never could figure out if there was any access to a bunker house of any sort here. So my apologies if I've actually missed that somewhere. But I went all around the areas that were the lowest elevation and just wandered all over the place trying to trigger where the door might be, but never could find anything uh, that would allow me in. So, all right, Bones, thanks for dropping by, and you have a good day at work. We'll see you next week, hopefully. So yeah, that's Eteron Mansion by Larser Eteron. And the last home we're going to visit today is by Zero Halcyon. Whoops. Hey, whatever gets you some monies. So this one is called Submarine Restaurant, RP, so it's specifically designated for those that want to role play, going to a fancy restaurant, that type of deal. You can see they've boxed in the entrance here. They're using it what appears to be it looks brown, so I'm going to assume it's the upside down massive umbrella tree. Now you'll notice there's a door here. That's the faux one, the Granox style, as opposed to the Red Moon one that we saw earlier as an actual functional door. This is a faux one. It doesn't work. It just looks exactly the same on the other side. It doesn't open on its own or anything like that. You got the generators here on either side. They usually shoot like lightning bits from the little button thingies, but for whatever reason, that doesn't always function properly. And then that's the Osun uh, gate, portcullis, or whatever you want to call it. Excuse me. Now, I don't know what this is supposed to be, if this is like the sentinel or like the guard keeper of this place. You can see there's water coming from above. Makes it look like this is an actual functioning door where it's like comes through the creases. As part of those new waterfalls, it's actually the spaceship window that's being used as the door up above here. And then it looks like some domes and the porthole window and things like that here. It's either that or it's supposed to represent like the little, you know how you have like a ship and then they send out a little bot into the water to kind of take pictures and stuff. I don't know what you call those things. That's what it reminds me of, like a little mini sub kind of thing. I don't know. All right, Poi, you have a good time. Enjoy your meal. We'll see you next week, hopefully. But you can see they got some engine lights. They got the little strobe light things here, and I think this is part of one of those red moon bits. But I honestly am not for positive what that's supposed to be. You come through here, you start seeing some of the exterior, and they've set it up as if it's underwater. They've got the glass here. I think they've got multiple layers to kind of frost it up a little bit. And then they've got oversized water plants. So you see the barnacle weeds, the leafy stalks being used as like kelp. They even have some of the frosted shroom plants. There's a little bit of those bony ones. It looks like coral. You can see they've made like rock arches there. And of course, this could easily be a tunnel leading into a mine just because of the way they built the supports. So again, remember this is supposed to be underwater, so they're trying to give the illusion. They're using the steam gliders as some type of fish or marine animal. You've got the frost spores with their weird wiggly bits that look like, what do you call those? Anemones? I can't say the word. Anemone? You know what I'm saying? Those little squishy things that the clownfish go in. These are palm trees that they're using for like some kind of, I don't know, sea cucumber looking things. So then we come into the restaurant proper. And you see it's fairly large. Let's go this way first. So you've got a little sitting nook here, using some of those nice NPCs to fill in the gaps. Down here is a little eating area with a great view of the exterior. Again, using that layered glass to kind of frost it up to make it look more bluish than it probably really is. You see that coral plant. I think it's something frost, something from Arcterra, I think. There's some that's empty and there's some that's got that little glowy bit in the middle. This little sofa thing is made out of hover part pieces and just some pillows thrown in. The lantern strings, I think those come from the Lop decor pack, the one that comes with the little Lop hut and the curd animals and a lot of the crates and things. And you notice they're keeping with the nautical theme, so you'll see a lot of like the nautical chairs and the nautical wheel and stuff out just kind of blend in with the theme of it being underwater. More tables here. Little private gaming room. Again, the tables are all of those brown ones, and they just oversized it and sunk it down so you don't see the long legs. The light effect, that kind of glowing off and on, that's coming from the Lop Shrine here. And this is that portrait that I said if you size it large enough, you can actually pass through the picture. I've seen a lot of Tua-themed houses using that as doorways. This is the bar. They're using the copper gate as the bar keeps little door. The only unfortunate thing is it's not actually functional like some of our other gates, so you can't pass through it like you would normally. We're using some of the Winterfest Protostar shelves for their bar setup. Good use of them. It's actually kind of sunk halfway into the wall. I think they're using this Red Moon lamp light thing as a beer bottle of some kind. It's kind of hard to see because of the lighting, but there you go. This is the kitchen, I think. So we have the welder like barbecuing the the meat here on the stick. Oh, is this Siskwy? Well, there we go. It's not German only though, right? Again, you can get a few scenes of the outdoor, some bones. The little island looks like just metal edge 2x4 blocks, and then 2x4 is laying on top there. Okay. The centerpiece, of course, is like a snippet of the exterior. This implied that there's water here. The bubbles are coming from I would guess it's from those what they call the poison spore thingies, like a couple plants or something that have that effect on it. Well, that's good to know. But for like the German community, if they want some specific, I guess you guys would do that. I like the little arrangements here. Curved walls, some stones, and some trees, and you got a nice little setting. Here's the restroom. Oh, somebody's using the restroom. We'll just pass him by. The countertop here, that's one of the what's it? The Heart Collection coffee table. And then for the mirrors, it's just some framed glass layered up a little bit. I imagine, let's see. I imagine it's one table being used double time for the sink here, but I'm not for positive. Again, I love these lights here, but I don't think they actually give off any light. So if you're going to use them, you might have to trick us into thinking that it's lit up by actually putting some lamps in there. I like the little indicators for male and female. This triangle piece and a circle for the male, and then for the woman it's the same pieces but differently arranged. It's always tough to come up with nice, clever ways of doing signs without using too many pieces to kind of make it look like it works. Whoops, I'm just walking all over the furniture here. Love the staircase. They're just using the pillar as the center and then metal edge 2x4s going up it in a spiral. And then the railing is just 2x4s as well. I also love this part here, that little crisscross of the 2x4s for the railing up above. It's all the way around. It's really nice. Again, more little seating areas, all a little personable, and you get a nice view of the downstairs. And right here. And then, of course, up above is the big stage area, and it looks like they too have gotten the DJ thing. Now, this one's nicely lit up, so you can see it really well, all of the detail in this particular item. But again, I would love to see someone put something like this together on their own. I know there's been a few DJ booths that have been custom built, but I would be curious to know if they could come up with some way to make these like little animated parts. I don't know how easy that would be. If we have anything that's even close to that, doubt it. But then again, you get another great view of the exterior of the plot. Siskwe, does this one have any access to a bunker house or anything? I like the mines, the floating mines. It's the anti-mine weapon, I think. I don't remember the exact name of it, but I've seen people use them as like maces or other types of torture weaponry. But they've got the hanging chains, and it's like the floating mines there to help protect the building. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure because I really hate to miss stuff like that, but sometimes folks are really clever at hiding them, and it's not so easy to spot. Just taking a peek out all the windows. There you can see that first dining area that we spotted. Yeah, really cute place. Great for, you know, a little small group of friends that want to have a little place to hang out, grab a drink, socialize, meet some new people, especially if you're looking for some fellow role players. All right, I'll wait a minute then to see if you get a response. It's again, I really hate to miss it. See, I can't like get behind that. There's not an actual door there, so I don't know. I didn't notice any place that would lead off. Nope, no bunker. All right. Thank you for asking and confirming before we called it. So that is Zero Halcyon's Submarine Restaurant RP. Again, lots of great ideas, nice uses of items in original ways. If you're looking for, you know, even if you're not running a restaurant type of thing, I mean, the railing here, that would be useful in so many different uh, situations, in a personal room, in a guild hall, in a bar, in an inn, just so many things, so many uses. We've seen people use that kind of crisscross for like wine racks and stuff, but I imagine someone could come up with a nice little garden feature for it. So yeah, a lot of nice ideas. But I hope, maybe some of the things that we saw today will help inspire you to your own ideas, some things that you can make work uh, for you. I'm going to go out to this spot here, close out on this. I like the view here. And I hope you guys had fun. Again, if you know of a home that you feel is worthy enough to be toured and we haven't toured it yet, then I'd be happy to take your suggestion into consideration. We do have a bit of a queue. I probably got about, well, I'd say about 20 to 30 plots on each region that I've got listed down, and that's not including ones that I know of that are works in progress. I have a separate list for them. I've got ones that I consider ready for viewing and others that are kind of incomplete and that are clearly still heavily being worked on. Um, so yeah, no guarantee when I will get to it if I'm going to take a look at it, but I will try and get it in there as eventually, as soon as I can, eventually, somewhere around there. But yeah, I'm always happy to get suggestions from other players, because while I enjoy going and visiting random plots on my own, uh, a lot of times it's just easy to miss. Maybe the random viewer doesn't call it up or something. Sometimes it seems to get stuck on just a few homes, um, or for some other reason. I do try to visit both randomly on Exile and Dominion side, just so that I make sure that I don't miss any new ones that might pop up on a different faction. But yeah, so it's not that I'm relying completely on other people to suggest, but I'm always open to other suggestions. So if you have a plot, or you know of a friend or a friend of a friend, or a guildmate, or a total stranger that you happen to come across their plot and think that it would be worth taking a look, and I haven't checked it out yet, I'd be more than happy to list it down and add it to our mix. Oh, have you fled? I'm sure there's a lot of builders that have probably going with the same route, stopping until communities come out. I just don't know when the communities are actually slated. They said like towards the latter part of this year, but that's still pretty vague. And from the sound of it, there's still a lot of work to be done. I saw that they had supposedly fixed the bit where if you place something on the community part of it, the communal area, that it will count on individual plots. I think they've supposedly fixed that, but there's still apparently a problem of items bleeding over, or like I'm not quite sure how to describe it because I haven't actually been into it myself, but I imagine there's going to be a lot that will kind of put things on hold for a little bit. My suggestion is, if you don't want to get out of the habit of it, just work on some little mini projects, like some furniture that if you have a particular theme that you're going to be aiming for, then start thinking about even if it's just sketching out some ideas on a piece of paper, some ideas of things that you want to try building, or particular themes and items that you think might work for those themes, just to keep your brain functioning. Myself, I've been kind of out of the building so long, it's really hard to get back into it. One of the reasons why I'm just focusing on showing other people's work, because I've been kind of brain dead about my own. But I hope eventually I will get spurred into working on some new projects. I have a lot of like half complete, but I just haven't been in the mindset to get back into it. So I can understand, this might be a good opportunity for people to start from scratch, building something completely new based on the parameters that the communities will provide. This will probably bring in a lot of opportunities for collaboration works, between multiple peoples. Um, I know there's going to be some that will prefer to just have their alts and their main in the community and not anybody else, but I imagine there's going to be a lot of more cooperative works um, taken up by being able to combine with other guildmates or friends or family or whoever. So it should be interesting. I just hope that, they iron out the majority of the big bugs and issues that people have brought up before they take it live. Because I know it was like when they first enlarged the plots, that was a huge significant change, and it technically didn't mess up the plots, but it uh, made it a little awkward for a lot of them because people would build around that entranceway, and then when they moved it, it totally kind of confused how it looked. I mean, you could see like the messiness of the outside edges and stuff. And even now, there are a lot of plots that haven't been, converted to the new size. So you'll come across those that it's just this little puddle of stuff in the middle. And so I hope it's not that significant of a change. I hope it's different than that. But yeah, we'll see. So yeah, thanks guys for joining. I hope you had a fun time. I hope the rest of your week continues to go well. Good luck with any projects you might be working on. And again, if you're really looking forward to the community thing, now's the time to start your planning. That would be probably the biggest thing I would say, is to uh, start thinking about, if you're going to have 5 plots joined, how do you want them joined? Do you want them all to be similar or somehow linked, not just by physicality of being in the community, but actual like theme, kind of deal? Do you want like an amusement park setup where one has, all of the food stalls, and another one has all the kiddie rides, and another one has the roller coasters and stuff, and another one is set up for all of the gaming booths. Who knows? But yeah, it'll be fun to see how all of that turns out and where it progresses from there. So yeah, uh, yeah, I imagine, Siskly. I'm sure a lot of folks are going to have to do a lot of revamping if they decide to join up into the community part. I see. I don't even know if it's like a mandatory thing or if that's just an optional feature that you can join, or if you can leave yours separate and not have to worry about any of that. I have no idea. Anywho, thanks guys. Appreciate the support and of course your company every week. And we will be back here next week. We will be back on entity side next week, since we're switching between regions each time. So be looking forward to that. In the meantime, remember we do have the Double XP Explosion event this weekend, May 26th through the 29th. So if you have some alts that you want to get leveled up for renown purposes or whatever, now's your chance to do that. And of course, we do have the maintenance coming. Again, it's supposed to be a little over 2 hours today, and then they're going to have a little bit of extended for, I think it's like the services part. So just be aware of that if you're going to be digging around in your account management or something and it doesn't quite work. That's probably why. So yeah, take care, have a great week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.